Welcome back to another episode of Horror, Horrors, and Other Horrible Topics. We're your favorite horrors here to discuss horror, gay shit, and other horrible topics, bitch. My name is Nick.
And I'm Zach. Thank you for coming back to Vibe, whether you're listening on your drive to work, hanging with us in your free time, or being your favorite final girl's favorite final girl. Thank you so much for being here.
Period.
And coming back. We hope you enjoyed our Smash and Pass episode that we put out.
I did. I had a great time editing that episode. I was laughing.
I'm glad. When you were sending me clips, I was like, oh yeah, some of these are good. And I stick by every single one of my choices.
I know, they were all great choices. And honestly, the Pride one that I tweeted today was great. Every time I watched it, it made me laugh. And every time somebody commented under it, I was like, I guess I need to watch it again.
That's the same, like, what if we just give it another little peeksy? Just exactly. Run it back.
We're our own biggest fans, and I think that's great.
Oh, we gotta be. Someone's gotta be our fans of us.
Thank you.
And it's us.
Thank you. How you been? How do you want to start this episode out, babe?
I have been good. I've been living life.
Love that.
I've been
the alternative for sure.
I am still shackled to this mortal plane.
Period.
And progressing in a forward manner, whether I like it or not, as time only flows in one direction for me currently.
Yeah.
So I have been proceeding in a path forward. And so I am now in a different place than I was when we last discussed. So that's how I've been doing.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
No, and it's very relatable. I agree. And it's funny because we're both going through similar shit. We're both having to take someone to court, which is like not cute or fun.
That's not cute or fun. But hopefully the outcome is cute and fun.
And financially advantageous.
We can only hope. I mean, if I'm putting this much time and effort into this, at this point, we deserve a little something.
Tea. And if you are a sugar daddy who is looking for a long distance sugar baby, I'm a great sugar baby, and so is Zach.
We're just really good at it. We're actually professional sugar babies.
Thank you.
Like, I actually have that on my resume. Maybe that's why I haven't gotten a new job, because I have at the very top professional sugar baby. Maybe that's why.
What is an employer if not a professional sugar daddy?
Thank you. Also, can I include personality hire on my resume?
If you do, I will. I know for a fact I have been the personality hire at least half the jobs that I have ever worked.
Well, see, I've just been working at the one job for way too long now, and I know I was not hired for... Well, actually, I could have. I could have been. You never know.
I have had too many jobs in my life. Too many jobs. I wouldn't be surprised if I've had like 20 jobs since I turned 18.
Oof.
I know. It's a lot.
Oof.
It's a lot. I'm tired of working.
He's over it. Sugar daddies, inquire now. He's over it.
Yeah. I promise I'll be cute forever. I'll work really, really hard.
That's a skill in itself, being cute forever.
Thank you.
Because you know what? I'm in my 30s now. And I can feel myself coming to the end of my cute age.
No way.
It's coming. It's there.
50 is the new 40.
I don't know.
And we're not even 40 yet.
I don't know who's saying that. As I was saying, times are constantly flowing in a forward direction, and I could see, like, at the end of a water slide, I could, like, you know how sometimes you could peek over as you go up and you could see the end of the slide? I peek up sometimes and I see the end of the slide. Like, when I get back from the gym and I'm a little bit too sore, I'm like, there's the end of that water slide. Or, like, I've been sitting for too long and I get up from work and my back cracks 1,000 times.
So are you... I guess I'm not sure what you're trying to say here. Are you talking about your like... You see the end of the ride, you're like, I'm gonna self-eliminate? Is that what we're talking about?
Not by choice.
I'm so close to self-eliminating.
No. It is that I see the end because, you know, everything comes to an end at some point. And it's like, you get to a point where you're no longer you're no longer in your 20s. You're no longer fun, flirty, and everything. You can still be fun and flirty, but you kind of, the specter of death is now weighing on you. You see the end. You see in the distance.
I see. I got you.
The end. The goalposts are there in the distance.
So you're just saying we're acutely aware of our mortality.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I hear that for sure. I'm definitely like, I'm 32 years old and I'm like, what have I done with my life? My life is almost over, which is not true. I'm like, I don't have any more time left. What hobbies can I start now? What does it matter? Which is not true.
Carl, I'm right there with you, and I'm so glad we started this episode on such a positive note.
I mean, it's just where we're at in life.
We're just being honest here. Okay, so on to a happier note. Yeah. So if you exist in the same social media space that I do, you saw me not shutting up about the fact that I went to a double showing of 35mm.
So jealous.
X and Pearl with Ty West, the director, was doing a Q&A.
Wait, 35mm, what does that mean?
It's the way that a film is shot. If it's shot on 35mm and then it's played on that, it means that it's like played without a lot of the converting to a more modern look. So it's like how it was, like it's still edited the same way, but it's like how the film looked when it was being filmed.
Interesting.
Like I'm sure there's still color correcting and certain things like that, but it's a lot more representative of what the director was seeing while filming. Okay. So it's just like a lot of like, I'm not a big like film techie kind of person like that, where it's not like the great, like I'm not like, oh my god, I must see this movie in 35mm. But a lot of people,
I never heard of that before.
There are people that exist out there who like that is the end all be all of like. Anyways, it's just, it feels a little bit more closer to like getting closer to the director's original vision, what they saw.
Cool.
Anyways, so lovely friend, shout out Gabby, got tickets for me and my partner Jamie to go to this double feature. I just assumed, I was like, that's so cool, the director's gonna be there, we're gonna see these movies, whereas apparently she had this inkling the entire time that she was like, maybe something else is gonna happen. So we went to this little theater in Hollywood that only has a single showing room. It's just like one theater.
Okay.
She also just went and saw Longlegs there early. Oh. And there was a Q&A with it. Which is another movie I'm very excited about. But anyways, so we get there. We tried to get there like an hour early. We got there an hour early. I also, don't tell anyone, I bought some Jack Wraps from Jack in the Box and snuck them in.
You better work.
Because I'm like, 2 movies, I'm going to need dinner. I'm going to need a snacky.
Oh, I mean, every time we go to a movie, now that we have the AMC A-list, I'm sorry, I do get Chick-fil-A. It's right outside of the theater, and I just put it in my little bag, and I eat my little sandwich in the movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have to, like, the thing, if there are some, because the movie theater you used to go to had, like, real meals and stuff like that. I feel like I would spend the money to buy a real meal if it was good, but like AMC has like hot dogs and like sliders, and they're not that good.
And they're like $10 at least.
Yeah.
No.
So we sat down. It was already packed by the time we got there. We watched X, which I've said this before. I'll say it again. And even after I rewatched X, I think X is a good movie. I just don't really love X.
Which is funny because I don't love Pearl, but I love X.
See, I'm the exact like, I love the concept of what X is trying to do with the contrasting of porn and horror, and like also equating similar themes, similar like iconography, and like the like, it's a really, really cool, interesting idea, and I think it's deployed really well and done very well, but for some reason X just does not hit me in the way that I want it to, in the way that it hits other people. Whereas Pearl, I'm like, yes, like, have that mental breakdown on screen. Give me that like 8-minute monologue.
Yeah, the 8-minute monologue is great,
like,
for sure.
That rewatch. So we saw X. Q&A was happening in between. Ty West came up with Lily Collins, who's in the new movie. It was a cute little moment.
Lily Collins is also in Nosferatu, coming out in December.
No.
Lily Rose Depp.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. So just as a part, they were like, they kept like being like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if like, they kept being like, how many people here have seen X and Pearl? So they're like, oh, everyone's just coming back to see it again. Wouldn't it be crazy if you saw something new? And then we were all like, are you just fucking around with us? Are you fucking with us? And then at some point, like, Lily Collins was straight up like, you know what? Since everyone here has already seen Pearl, what if we just showed you all Maxine? And we were all like the theater was dead silent for a second. Then she was like, and then Ty West was like, no, seriously, we're going to show you Maxine before anybody else has seen it. Because the premiere just happened like a couple days ago. I don't know if we were the first, besides like obviously the people in the inner circle, but like I think we were the first actual like showing of it, like ever in anywhere.
That's so awesome.
So I will say Maxine is my favorite of the trilogy.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Favorite. It is such an amazing homage to filmmaking, to Hollywood, like. Oh, it's just, it's so good. Mia Goth, again, so fucking fantastic. She absolutely kills it. There is, like, one tiny thing that I'm disappointed in that we will talk about.
Don't say it.
I won't say it. It has nothing to do with the plot or anything like that. It's just a small thing. But besides that, it's so good. It's so good, and it feels like it's a part of the trilogy. So I know that you are going to love it. If you liked either X or Pearl, I feel like this is the best of both worlds from both of them. It is so good. It's so good. It's so good.
I'm so excited. I love the premise of it. It's like the Night Stalker, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I love that it's set in the 80s. I love the cinematography that I've seen so far. I'm like, this is my shit for sure. So I'm very excited.
It's gorgeous. It's so good. The other thing that I will, just because I'm me, I exist in my own world. I guessed the thing immediately. 5 minutes into the movie, I turned and said, "What if?" And the "what if" was it. But hey. It did not take away from the movie, because if they had done something different, I would have been mad. So I'm glad they did exactly what I thought it was. Because
there
I
you
think
go.
That actually, yeah.
That just means that you're a horror aficionado.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that I feel like everyone will figure out immediately, most likely. But the entire ride of the movie is so much fun that you're like not even focusing on if that thing is the thing. So you're just like, so the ride, it did not matter to me whatsoever. I had such an amazing ride the entire time. So that's what I've been up to. What about you? Anything else?
No.
Great.
No. It's been boring here. So it's been fucking hot as fuck. Yesterday, the heat index, when I was watching the news, they said it was going to be 119. Fucking hot. That's all I've been up to.
That is ungodly. That is like Satan's taint level of temperature. Oof.
Yeah. It's been miserable.
Bitch, and I'm sitting here like, oh my God. Low 90s? Whatever am I going to do? You said 100 what?
119, they said, with the heat index.
Are you okay?
Yeah. So here's the thing. We have I have these are all blackout curtains, but on this side over here there's a window, and we have a blanket inside the window, inside the blackout curtains. In the kitchen we have towels covering the windows to keep the heat from coming in there. We also have a massive quilted blanket that we have hung up in the entryway of the kitchen so that all of the cool air stays in the living room. So that's really cute and fun. It feels like a dungeon.
Cute and fun little dungeon. I thought you were gonna go with like blanket fort, but you went with dungeon, and you know what? I respect that.
You know, I I have spent basically my entire life in this house since we bought it, and it is starting to feel like a dungeon. I'm like, I can't afford to go out. I don't have a job to go to every day, so it is kind of like a dungeon. It's like my prison.
The way this is the most positive episode we have ever done. Hey, besties, we're living in a prison of our own self-creation. Help us out. Actually, this entire podcast is just a cry for help. This is just like someone who can offer us better living conditions and jobs. This whole entire thing is just a scheme to get someone to pity us, to give us a better way of life.
Yeah. Either a job, or if you want to, you can adopt me if you want. I'll call you daddy or mommy.
Whatever you prefer.
you pick your pronouns.
That's the great thing about us. We'll respect whatever you say. If you're giving me money, bitch, I'll call you anything you want.
Literally. I love it.
All right, well, I think it's time we get into the meat of the episode. I am very excited. We have actually been even though we haven't been recording, we have been figuring out this next, what do we call it?
Arc?
Event. Arc. Yeah, I like arc. Yeah. That's definitely not the correct word, but let's go.
Why not? Why can't it be an arc? This is an arc of the podcast.
I think it's more of a module.
Module? What is this? School?
I don't know. I think of arc as narrative based, and I mean there has to be. I mean, there will be character progression. I'm sure by the end of it, we will be completely different people. Anyways, so get ready and welcome to the Horror Whores vs. the AI, the Final Girl edition.
I'm so excited.
The final girl of all final girls.
So, here's what we're planning on doing, okay?
Give us the premise, baby.
Yeah. Tonight, we are setting 8 of our favorite badass final girls against each other in rounds of AI prompts that will, 1, set the stage for a conflict between 2 final girls and their corresponding nemesis. Think about it like when we were kids and Jimmy Neutron and Timmy Turner crossed over into a show together, and it was really cool and exciting and fun.
Or Freddy vs. Jason. But sure. All right.
Yeah. Then we will read said prompt, setting up the scene. And after, we will decide who we think will get out alive and declare a winner. After that, we will ask again for the AI to give us a winner so that it is completely unbiased. And the horror, us, who chooses correctly will get points.
Mm-hmm. And just to state, we are using AI so that scenarios and outcomes are completely unbiased and random, and are only meant to be for fun. For fun, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. For fun. Obviously, AI is not perfect, and thank God for that. So buckle up, because there is going to be some ridiculous crossover scenarios and some over-the-top discussions. And you know what? We're going to find out who the AI thinks the final girl of all final girls is.
I'm excited. We have we've done this a couple times, just to see how it would work, how it would play out, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty funny.
Been silly. You'll see how this is gonna go as we get into it, but we want to start with just what we see the structure being. So we have 8 final girls, and we picked our favorites. So some that you think might be there might not be there. Some that you didn't expect being there will be there. So just, you know what, we might do other rounds of it if people like this. We might bring in some others, but we have our 8. Okay, so the structure, we'll be doing 4 qualifying rounds, which will then give us 4 girls out of the 8. So then we will take those 4 girls and put them into separate semi-final rounds to then get a one-on-one, 2 of our top final girls to go at it in a finale. So we will be doing 4 qualifying rounds, 2 semifinals, and 1 final.
Yeah. Think of it I'm sure I would venture to guess that most of our listeners / viewers have seen Dragon Ball Z. That's not a crazy assumption, right? Why are you laughing?
The fact that you went to I'm more like really proud because the fact that to explain this bracket style that everyone who's ever done a sport understands, you went to anime shonen tournaments, and honestly, I could not be more proud because my brain instantly went to the Yu Yu Hakusho Dark tournament, and I was like, people know sports, people know what bracket tournaments are, but you were like, have you all seen Dragon Ball Z?
Listen, I am grounding what we're doing in our interests and not straight men or women. Sports people, not my people. Sorry.
We can't say that. I have a lot of friends that went to Pride Night at the Dodgers Stadium. I love you, sports gays.
What was that? What did they do for Pride? Was it just a baseball game that they said was here's the Pride baseball game?
Yeah, there was gay merch and probably like some gay drinks maybe.
If no one was fucking in those bathrooms, it was not a Pride event.
Oh, I'm sure. If there's gays, there's fucking in the bathroom happening.
That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. It's not Pride until someone's fucking in a public place. And this is why the straight people hate us. This is why they're trying to destroy Pride.
Bullshit. Straight people have sex in public too. Let's not pretend, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Anyways, back to this thing that we're doing. Okay, so let's let them know about who the final girls are.
Yep.
And just to state, in case it wasn't clear, we will be matching them with their respective nemesis. Mm-hmm. So, for example, our first final girl, we have Laurie Strode from Halloween, who will also be in competition with another final girl, which they won't be going after each other until they've defeated their nemesis together. So we will have Laurie Strode.
Unless that's like that might not be how it happens.
Yeah, that's true. We can't control. This is exactly. We don't know what's gonna come. We are just feeding prompts into this AI bullshit, and you know what? We can't control it from there.
Yeah.
So, number one, we have Laurie Strode of Halloween and Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. Number two. Give it to them.
Me?
Give it to them.
Grace Les Domas from Ready or Not with the Les Domas family.
Number three, Sidney Prescott from Scream with Ghostface.
Naturally. 4 is Sidney Carpenter, also from Scream, also with Ghostface.
I'm sorry, what was her name?
Did I say it was Sabrina Carpenter?
No, you said Sidney, but...
No, I didn't. Did I really?
You said... Sidney, Sabrina, Sam...
Number 4 is actually Sam Carpenter from Scream with Ghostface.
Mm-hmm. We had to do 2 Screams because Sidney and Sam, some of my favorite final girls.
Well, yeah, they're great, and I want to give
Melissa Barrera.
Melissa, fuck me. I want to give her more flowers because she
deserves more flowers.
Hopefully, she survives. 4 is Sam Carpenter from Scream, also with Ghostface.
We wanted, since they're both 2 different, like, really badass final girls, we wanted to give them both a shot at this. So, number 5 is Ellen Ripley from Alien versus the Xenomorph.
My personal favorite. 6 is Tree Gelbman. It's a fucking crazy.
Who the fuck knows her last name? Yeah, I don't know. It's
crazy,
but that's her name.
From Happy Death Day, along with the Bayfield Babyface Killer. Mm-hmm. Great name, in my opinion.
Which I also did not know that was the name of it until I started Googling.
We're learning. It's called research. And then we have Erin Harson from You're Next and the Animal Mask Killers, one of my personal favorite final girls. Last but not least, Maxine Minx from X, Pearl, and soon-to-be Maxine.
Versus the nemesis of Pearl. Because when we were making this list, I had not yet seen Maxine, but now I have a better perspective on Maxine. Which, by the time I think we actually, because we've gone ahead and we randomized the qualifying rounds, by the time we get to the qualifying round with Maxine Minx, you might have already seen Maxine by then.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
So that would actually be like great, but we're setting it up. So those are our 8 final girls. So like I said, we have already randomized the qualifying rounds. So round number 1, which you will be hearing today, is Sidney Prescott of Scream versus Ghostface versus Erin Harson from You're Next and the Animal Mask Killers.
I'm very excited about this. It's going to be good.
So before we jump into this, just a quick reminder, we will be given a prompt by the AI in which, just as Nick had said, as Timmy Turner and Jimmy Neutron teaming up versus their respective nemeses, you never know if they will be fighting together or fighting against each other, but they will all be existing in this prompt, and we'll be getting the opening scene, which will then allow Nick and I to discuss who we think will survive. After we have decided who we each think will be the final girl of the final girls, we will then ask the AI to give us the final scene in which only one of the final girls makes it out. And depending on if we agreed with what the AI was, or if we predicted what the AI was going to say, we will get points. And at the end of this entire tournament, whoever has the most points will win. Take us away. Wrap us up in this world.
All right. Scream in the woods. Fade in. Woodsboro High. Night. The small town of Woodsboro is eerily quiet under the pale moonlight. The camera pans through the dense woods surrounding the town, revealing the rustling leaves and the occasional hoot of an owl. Cut to Sidney Prescott's house. Night. Sidney Prescott's house stands alone at the edge of the woods. The lights are on, casting a warm glow on the porch. The sound of crickets fill the air. Suddenly, a twig snaps nearby. Sidney sits on the couch, flipping through TV channels. She looks relaxed but alert. The news channel flashes a headline about a recent string of murders in a nearby town. The brutal killings in the neighboring town have left the community in shock. Police are urging everyone to stay vigilant. Sidney sighs. Turning off the TV, she stands up and stretches, heading towards the kitchen. Sidney pours herself a glass of water. As she sips, her phone rings. She glances at the caller ID. Unknown caller. She hesitates, then answers. Hello? Hello, Sidney. Sidney's grip tightens on the phone. She remains composed. What do you want? Oh, just the usual. A little blood, a little scream. How about a game? Before Sidney can respond, she hears a noise from the outside. She quickly hangs up and grabs a kitchen knife. Sidney steps onto the front porch, scanning the area. The wind rustles the leaves, creating an unsettling atmosphere. She takes a cautious step forward. Suddenly, a masked figure with an animal face lunges at her from the shadows. Sidney reacts quickly, dodging the attack and slashing at the figure with her knife. The figure stumbles back, clutching their arm. Who the hell are you? Before the attacker can respond, another figure emerges from the woods, wearing a different animal mask. They both charge at Sidney. Just as Sidney is about to be overpowered, a loud crack echoes through the night. The attackers freeze. Get away from her! Erin Harson, early 30s, fierce and resourceful, steps out of the shadows holding a crossbow. She fires a bolt, hitting one of the masked attackers in the shoulder. The attacker screams and falls back. Sidney, get inside! Sidney nods and runs back into the house, locking the door behind her. Erin stands her ground, readying another bolt. Sidney quickly checks the locks in the bed and the windows and the doors. Her phone rings again. She answers without hesitation. Erin's here. You're not getting away this time. Ghostface. Oh, Sidney, this is just the beginning. Tonight, everyone screams. The call disconnects. Sidney looks determined, glancing towards the kitchen where she keeps her weapons. Erin backs towards the house, keeping her eyes on the masked attackers. One of them pulls out a knife, advancing slowly. I've dealt with worse than you. The attacker lunges, but Erin swiftly dodges, kicking them in the chest. The other attacker moves in, and Erin fires her crossbow again, hitting their leg. The attacker goes down, screaming in pain. Meanwhile, Sidney grabs a gun from the drawer. Loading it with shaking hands, she steels herself, ready for whatever comes next. Sidney and Erin lock eyes through the window. They nod at each other, a silent agreement. They will fight together. Wisboro night. The camera pulls back, showing the dark, menacing woods surrounding Sidney's house. In the distance, more masked figures emerge from the trees, heading toward the house. The real nightmare is just beginning.
Dun dun dun.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Okay. See, we have the stage set.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do really like that. This is kind of like painted this picture that like Ghostface is the ringleader here and is pulling the strings, which also kind of like works with the fact that in your next, it's like, we're gonna get into spoilers. Sorry, there's no avoiding it. If you haven't seen these movies. So whereas the brothers have hired these assassins to kill the family so they could get the inheritance, it's like Ghostface has now hired assassins on to be a part of this killing. So
I love that they're all wearing masks. They're all on theme.
However, I think the AI is confused at how many animal mask killers exist in this universe. But you know what it's like? Does it? Sure, why not?
I mean, yeah. They can have relatives. It could be a family affair.
The other thing that I love is that Sidney has a gun, which is like I don't remember exactly which movie, but they're like, Sidney, do you have a gun? She's like, I'm Sidney fucking Prescott. Of course I have a gun.
That was 5. That was
5. Okay,
yeah.
okay. So so here we are. We have Erin with a crossbow, who has already put in some work, and we have Sidney with a gun. So this is, Erin is outside with the killers, Sidney is inside with a gun, but also the thing is, does it say in the closing scene that Ghostface is specifically outside?
I don't think it says. He's just on the phone.
Okay, because I would still, in Ghostface fashion, believe that he is inside the house. So this is where
I agree with that.
So now is where we figure out if Erin with a crossbow or Sidney with a gun. Erin outside a house with a bunch of animal mass killers, or Sidney with a gun potentially with Ghostface in the house. What are you thinking?
Okay, so here's my thought process. We have already seen Erin in this scene using her crossbow, and I don't know if she is either not trying to kill these people or she just has bad aim, because I think she fired 2 shots in that, and neither of them were lethal.
One she got in the leg, I believe it said.
And one in the shoulder.
Yeah.
So the aim is not aiming. And neither of these are like fatal wounds or like enough to stop a killer who's hell-bent on killing you, in my opinion. Sidney, I feel like, has a better chance with the gun, especially if she's just like up in a window, like sniping, you know?
Sniping with a pistol is not, I mean, movie magic, baby. But
yeah. I mean, they're like maybe 20 feet away? You don't need a real sniper for that.
I mean, true. If that's true. That's true. My thing, though, is we've already seen Erin. Maybe they weren't lethal, but we've already seen her kick one in the chest. We've seen her fire 2 rounds. We have yet to see anything from Sidney, just her prepping.
She's very scrappy, for sure.
However, I think in, like, movie writing fashion, Erin coming in as the kind of defender character, being like, get inside, would lead me to believe, if this was an actual movie written by a real writer and not a shitty AI who probably is not following actual rules of narrative writing, I would believe that the defender character is going to die as the defender.
Yeah.
Whereas setting the character who is the like damsel in distress in the first act, setting her up to be the ultimate badass in the final act. So that's what I'm weighing between, is the fact that we've already seen Erin be such a badass versus it feels like it's setting Sidney up to be the final badass.
Unless Scream is in the house with her and just, you know.
Scream, Mr. Scream. Mr. Scream. Mr. Scream himself.
Yes. Is in the house and just, you know, catches her by surprise.
Surprise, Sidney. I'm wondering if Ghostface is in the house.
Gotta be.
So we are setting the opening scene, and there is a full movie happening between now and what we're about to get.
Yeah.
This is like one that I know was going to be difficult for me, because looking at Erin as a final girl, one of my absolute favorite final girls, because she fights fucking back. Mm-hmm. She has a body count under her belt. Like, she sets the traps. Her background is her parents were survivalists, so she learned a bunch of like hunting, trapping, survival techniques, which she then employs against these animal mass killers who don't see it coming. And she fucking takes out so many. She goes through so much. She fucking shoves a blender onto one of their heads and turns it on. God,
I fucking forgot about that. I forgot about that.
She is so fucking good. In a world where it's actual Ghostface, if you took Erin and put Erin into a Scream movie, I don't think Ghostface would stand a chance against Erin. I think Erin would the movie would end so quickly.
I agree with that.
But like, the other thing is, Erin has only existed in a single movie. She survived one movie. Sidney has survived a lot more than that.
And she's got a body count herself.
Yeah, she does at this point. She is actually, I think actually she is a pretty comparable, if not actually, now that I think about it more, because she gets those final shots. She now knows, whereas Erin did not take those final shots at them in this opening scene. Sidney now knows you always do that double tap.
That's what I'm
always
saying.
Going to get back up.
That was the point that I was making earlier, is that like, Erin is not shooting to kill, whereas every shot that Sidney has taken in these movies, she's dropped a body. Because, let's see, she dropped Stu? No. Yes?
No, Stu
the TV.
Yeah, because she pushes the TV onto him, so that...
Yeah. Okay.
So it is still Sidney's body count, yes.
And
then...
Who's the guy's name?
Billy Loomis.
Billy Loomis. She shot him in the face.
Boom. Yes.
Yeah. She killed Billy's mom.
So Sidney does get the final shot on Miss Loomis in Scream 2.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so even just going off of that, because then
that's 3 kills already.
In 3, she also gets the final kill against her half-brother.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets the kill there, and then even in 4, she gets the medical things against Emma Roberts. So Sidney has a very comparable body count as well to Erin.
So Erin, was she ex-military? Why is she so good at these traps?
She was raised in a survivalist colony.
That's what it was. Okay. They just picked the wrong girl.
Yeah, so the difference here is that Sidney has had to learn how to be a final girl, whereas literally Erin was raised to be a final girl as a survivalist. So it comes down from either being raised in the environment or learning from experience, as Sidney has had to do over so many years at this point. They're both such strong contenders. I'm leaning to.
Oh, are you?
I'm gonna be sad to see either of them dropped off this early. But again, this was a randomized qualifying round,
I know.
So one girl does have to go down. But these are I feel like these are the cream of the crop final girls.
Yeah. It's definitely 2 hard hitters against each other. Like, if it was Erin versus Lori, that's easy. Erin's winning.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say I'm leaning towards Erin.
I was also leaning towards Erin.
Okay.
See, and this is a different kind of thing where it put them both, the prompt gave them both weapons, so I'm assuming it will give them weapons again. Because we did some practice ones where there was one girl that showed up with a weapon and the other one did not have a weapon, kind of thing. And we kind of were like, okay, this person's set up to survive because They got the gun. They got the axe. But both of them were given weapons that they are good at. I think I have to go with the fact that I just think that even though I think Sidney is the, like, probably my ultimate final girl, I just think Erin is, in the universe that she lives in and the world that she is, a stronger final girl.
Erin is.
Yes.
Okay. I agree.
I think Sidney's just a teenage girl that had to learn to survive.
So, in the prompt, it says she's in her 30s as well, by the way.
Erin is, right?
No, they both are.
Oh, okay.
I did not read that part, but I read it for Erin. So she's Sidney has a little bit more experience than what you're giving her credit for right now. But does that change your opinion?
I think see, that's the thing. We could both get points if we both pick a girl but we could also both not get points if we agree on the same girl. So that's like, I have to go with my heart and pick Erin. But I do think that I think the AI is going to be wrong, but I think the AI is going to say Sidney, but my heart says Erin.
Okay. I mean, my head is thinking Erin as well.
Okay.
I love you, Sidney girl. I'm sorry. But that's what I think.
And you know what? Let us know in the comments what you would have gone with, or tweet at us. Let us know, because I'm interested to see if you're all like, are you all fucking stupid?
Oh, no kidding, right?
All right. End that scene.
The final scene of Scream in the Woods, which is such a good title.
Is it though? Are you sure?
I think so. Why not?
If a final girl screams in the woods and no one's around to hear it,
does she ever
does
scream?
a final girl make a sound? Does she scream?
Yours was correct.
But was it good? Was it tasty? Did it belong?
Oh, baby, everything that comes out of your mouth is tasty.
I don't know about everything.
This one came up with a warning, by the way.
A warning?
This content may violate our usage policies.
Slay. Literally slay. Slay her. I don't know which one, but slay her.
All right, let's fucking get into it.
I'm excited.
All right. The once quiet town is now engulfed in chaos. We've moved to the entire town. Fires burn in the distance, casting an eerie glow over the forest. The sound of sirens and distant screams echo through the trees. Shit got crazy.
Oh, shit.
Sidney Prescott's house, backyard. The backyard is a battlefield. Bodies of the masked attackers are scattered around, their masks cracked and bloodied. Erin Harson, bruised and bloodied but still fighting, stands back to back with Sidney Prescott, equally battered. They are both surrounded by the last of the animal masked killers and Ghostface. Ghostface. Looks like it's the final act, ladies. Ready for the grand finale? How's my Ghostface?
Actually pretty
voice?
good.
Okay,
Actually
great.
pretty good.
Okay, great. Sidney grips her knife tighter, her eyes fierce. Oh, slay. Work, diva. Sidney, bring it on. The attackers charge. Sidney and Erin fight with everything they have, but the odds are overwhelming. Erin takes down one of the animal masked killers with a brutal stab to the chest, but another attacker slashes her leg, bringing her to one knee. Sidney tries to reach Erin, but Ghostface intercepts, slashing at her arm. Sidney grits her teeth, ignoring the pain, and counters with a vicious punch that knocks Ghostface to the ground. Okay, Fister.
Hi.
Go, Sidney, finish this! Sidney hesitates for a moment, looking at Erin's determined face. She nods and charges at Ghostface, who is now struggling to get up. Sidney tackles Ghostface, pinning them down. She raises her knife, ready to end it. You think you can stop this, Sidney? There will always be another. Not if I have anything to say about it. With a final, powerful thrust, Sidney plunges the knife into Ghostface's chest. Ghostface gasps, the life draining from their eyes. Sidney stands up, breathing heavily. She looks around, realizing the remaining animal masked killers have fled into the woods. Erin, are you okay? Sidney rushes to Erin's side. Erin is bleeding heavily, her breath shallow. She looks up at Sidney, a faint smile on her lips. We did it, Sidney. We stopped them. No, Erin, stay with me. We need to get you help. Erin shakes her head, her eyes closing. It's okay. I fought like you. Erin's hand goes limp, and her eyes close for the last time. Sidney chokes back tears, gently laying Erin's hand down. Sidney stumbles back into the house, covered in blood and dirt. She collapses onto the couch, staring blankly at the ceiling, and the adrenaline begins to fade, leaving her in a numb, hollow state. Her phone rings again. She looks at it, seeing another unknown caller. With a weary sigh, she answers. Whoever this is, it's over. I'm done with your games.
Oh, Sidney, it's never really over, is it? But for now, you can rest until next time.
The call disconnects. Sidney throws the phone aside, closing her eyes. Okay.
0 points for us.
I know, but it was so
0
good, though.
points.
But it was so good.
Oh, man.
I
Okay.
loved that. I did not expect.
I feel like we should have expected, since it was setting Ghostface up to be the big bad, that Sidney, like, that the animal mask killers were like the small fry.
Yeah,
that they were
totally.
going to take out Erin, but my heart said it's 0 points for us, and you know what?
That was wild. I did not expect that. But we don't actually find out how Erin died. What was the fatal blow? Who dealt it?
She got stabbed something. Like one of the animal mask killers like got her when they were all charging.
Let's see.
Yeah, her death didn't really fully make sense because I think they only got her on the leg or something like that. But maybe we'll go ahead and say, for like, even though AI is just dumb and doesn't understand things.
Yeah.
We'll say that it like nicked an artery or something like that.
It said an attacker slashes her leg, so maybe hit an artery.
Yeah, we'll go in and say that to make this even possibly any semblance of sense.
Yeah.
But damn, okay.
That was fun.
I'm going to highlight Sidney Prescott moves on to the semifinals. Our first final girl to make it through the qualifying rounds, beating her villain and the other villains.
How do you feel about that ending? Are you disappointed? I'm disappointed I don't have a point right now.
I'm not disappointed because the prompt stuck with the fact that Ghostface was manipulating a lot of... I don't think the AI truly understood the animal mask killers, but also at the same time, they are just muscle assassins for hire. Yeah. So I could see Ghostface, like, orchestrating this whole entire thing, hiring like black market killers or something, or like dark web killers kind of thing, and that's who the AI is creating these people to be. So it's like you still have the one Ghostface, but the Ghostface has, which I think I've talked about it, what I thought the next plot of the movie was going to be, which is kind of ish similar to this. Pretty Little Liars, actually. Are you watching the new season of Pretty Little Liars?
No. Should I?
Okay. Actually, yes.
Okay.
I actually really liked it. Jamie and
I watched the first half of the first season, but it got like really funny and goofy.
It's the first season wasn't that good. This one also wasn't that good, but I mean, it's still like good for its own reason. But They kind of did the exact plot in like a stupid way that I thought the next Scream movie was gonna do. Okay. That I've talked to you about.
Well, in this, you go ahead.
But I like the idea of Ghostface, like, getting
transcending his entity,
yes.
Transcending the like one disgruntled person.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and I also I know you've already watched it, but we just started and like blew through Frieren, the anime. And that was kind of giving the guy from Frieren with his clone.
Oh,
because
yeah.
You find out that he like, so this guy, his like main magical power is that he can clone himself, and the clone has like all of the same abilities and everything that he does, and at the end you find out that like for the entire run of this show he was never actually there, and it was just one of his clones that nobody bought.
He's just like in town just like having some tea.
Yeah. So that reminded me of that, which I love too. I love the idea of like, okay, well, you're going to be Ghostface, so play the part, knowing that they're just going to die. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I did like that surprise ending.
We kept going and I was like, you better work.
And if you're also playing along at home, I hope you give yourself a point if you decided on Sidney Prescott. Also, let us know if you got more points than we did at the end of this. Because, I mean, Nick and I are 0 for 1 at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for qualifying round number 2.
And in one corner, we have Grace Les Domas from Ready or Not, a.k.a. Samara Weaving, against the Les Domas family, versus Ellen Ripley from Alien, obviously, Sigourney Weaver, and the Xenomorph. Very excited about this. The Les Domas family is so dead. They're so dead.
So dead. This is one of those, like, because I feel like Erin and Sidney are on kind of like a same, like, universal power level. Like, it's just killers. It's just masked killers. Whereas these girls survived completely separate things. They're both valid. They're both fierce.
Yep.
But completely separate worlds. So I'm really excited to see how this comes together. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Give me that.
Set the scene, bitch.
Yeah! Okay. Don't call me a bitch.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. You have a praise king. Set that scene, king.
Woo! Okay. Title. Ready, set, scream.
Oh, work.
Interior. Les Domas Manor, night. Rain pours heavily outside, streaking down the windows of a grand, eerie mansion. Lightning flashes, illuminating the Les Domas family crest above the entrance. Inside the foyer is dimly lit, adorned with ancient portraits and flickering candelabras. Grace, from Ready or Not. Cautiously, it says that in parentheses, from Ready or Not.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cautiously steps through, clutching a flashlight and a shotgun. Grace, whispering to herself, "Okay, Grace, you can do this." The sound of distant footsteps echoes through the corridors. Grace freezes, listening intently. Suddenly, Ellen Ripley emerges from the shadows, armed with a pulse rifle and a determined expression. Ripley, we're not alone. Grace, startled, then relieved. Ripley, thank God you're here. Ripley, we don't have much time. They're hunting us. Grace nods grimly, the weight of her past experience is evident in her eyes. Ripley gestures towards a hidden staircase leading down. Ripley, they've been breeding something down there. Something not of this world.
It's me, they're breeding me.
It's just Nick in the corner, losing his religion.
On the fuck bench.
On the fuck bench. Grace's eyes widen, the gravity of Ripley's words sinking in. They descend cautiously into the depths of the mansion, navigating the labyrinthine corridors. Grace, whispering, "What are we up against?" Ripley, grimly, "A family with a legacy of survival at any cost, and their deadliest creation yet." They reach a heavy door, locked and reinforced. Ripley examines it, then turns to Grace with a determined glint in her eye. Ripley, ready to face your demons, Grace? Grace nods, steeling herself. Ripley kicks open the door with a resounding crash. Inside, a hidden laboratory glows with an eerie green light. Tubes filled with strange fluids line the wall. At the center, a xenomorph snarls, its sleek black exoskeleton glistening. Grace, holy shit. The Les Domas family members emerge from the shadows, armed with archaic weapons and dressed in formal attire. Les Domas matriarch, welcome, Grace. We've been expecting you. Ripley, raising her pulse rifle. You picked the wrong fight this time. The room erupts into chaos as the xenomorph lunges forward, its hiss echoing through the chamber. Grace and Ripley fight back to back, their skills complementing each other perfectly. Bullets fly, blades clash, and the xenomorph's acid blood splatters against the walls. Amidst the chaos, Grace locks eyes with the Les Domas matriarch, a fierce determination burning in her gaze. Grace, you wanted a game? Let's play. Okay, see, listen, it makes zero sense.
No.
But I do love the kind of like Frankensteining of this universe in which the Les Domas family is making a ultimate monster because they are rich and crazy, that they're making the xenomorph as their Frankenstein kind of monster in the basement of their mansion.
Yeah, no, so in my head, like when I was thinking like Fairly Odd Parents, Jimmy Neutron crossover, it's like these stories are it's almost like a throwaway. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's just for fun.
Yes,
times. So no, I think this is great.
Yeah, this is great. And again, the AI doesn't actually know anything that's going on. It's doing its best to like figure how to give us what we're asking for. And you know what? I like this setup a lot because we have Ripley coming out of the darkness. Well, first of all, we have Grace with a shotgun and a flashlight being like, "Ooh, I hear noises." And then Ripley's like, "Hey, what's up? I have a pulse rifle."
Yeah. I want to know how did Ripley get there? Is she actually a member of the Dumas family?
See, and we just don't know.
I know.
We have no context for that. All we know is she showed up. I love that both prompts, the girls are always like, "I'm so glad you're here." And the girls just like, they just know each other. They're just like, "Final girl, final girl." Yes,
they're all in the same club.
Honestly, there was a book called like a Final Girl like group therapy session or something, in which it took a bunch of final girls and like they were in like a group like therapy session together talking about.
Okay, I wonder
that. I wonder if that book was actually any good. Someone let
that
us
would
know.
that would make a really great animated show on like HBO Max.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing with like all the listen, fuck streaming services, but how they're all joining together. I'm like, get the IP. Make some interesting stuff like this. Like, I want to see more crossovers like this. And like you were saying, it could be throwaway. Let it be throwaway. Us as horror fans, we will let things be throwaway.
Yeah. If I have fun, that's all that matters.
Yeah. So if you were some big studio executive listening to us, which I mean, definitely happening, or some writer with connections, and you're ready to start working on some crossovers, let your boys know.
Yeah.
And we will not use AI because we will actually write good stories.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let your favorite horrors know. Okay. So what are you thinking for this?
This one feels a little too easy, in my opinion.
I'm right there with you.
Like,
I'm
girl,
right there with you.
I am so sorry, Grace. I love you. You are so great. You're cunty. I love your Converse. You are out of your depth, my girl.
Yeah, unfortunately out of your depths. And the thing is, like, even in the prompt, it's Ripley who's sitting there being like, "Here's what's going on. We need to deal with this.
Yeah.
We got this, blah, blah, blah." Whereas Grace is still figuring out. Ripley knows exactly what's going on the first second she meets Grace and is like, "Here's what's happening. Let's get moving." And Grace is like learning as she goes. I don't think, like you said, Grace is not prepared for this.
Mm-mm.
Grace is so surprised.
She just got married.
She just got married.
She's looking cute in her wedding dress.
But I have to say, Grace is one of... I mean, we picked our favorite final girl. So, like, of course, I'm going to say this for pretty much every girl. But, like, Grace is one of my favorite final girls from, like when she figures it out, it takes her a little while because she's just thinks she's playing hide and go seek. But once she figures it out, she is like, "I will put myself through whatever." When she gets that hole in her hand and she uses that in the nail to climb up, like, that is a determined final girl.
Yeah.
This is like, I love living in this world of, and like my favorite final girls are the ones that are capable. They're ready to throw down for their lives. In comparison to the latest The Strangers movie, where like those people were so inept at everything they were doing. I love these final girls that are like, "I have a hole in my hand, let me use that to climb.
The determination to live is enjoying to watch.
Yes. And I mean, that's why we love Final Girls.
Exactly.
Because it's against all odds, they're making it out. And then we have to look at Ripley and the odds that she's been up against. The fucking perfectly created creature that is like, if you like look at Alien vs. Predator lore, like these creatures are created to be the ultimate weapons. They are literally, and even in like the actual Alien series, they are created to be the ultimate weapon. Drop them on a planet, they will take out the entire planet. And Ripley survived one. For me, unfortunately, there's really just no contest here.
No, yeah, unless it's like a fluke situation where the xenomorph gets shot and the blood like splatters on Ripley. That's like the only thing I see happening. Or maybe one of the Domas family is like hiding in a corner and they just like come out with a knife and stab her in the back. I don't know. It's not gonna be like Ripley is locked into a fight with this other thing in losing, in my opinion. It's going to be like extraneous factors and she's caught in some crossfire.
Yeah. Like Ripley is not losing to the Les Domas family.
No.
That's like not happening. I also love that it like specifically went with the matriarch of the Les Domas family. It wasn't, it was like, yeah, that guy. Fuck him. No, it's that one. It's like crazy short ant with the yeah. So my vote, I am supporting my girl Ripley. I do think there's also a scenario in which Ripley could die defending Grace. Oh. And that could be the outcome that the AI gives us, but I have to go with my gut.
There's no reality where listen, I love Grace. She was my first pick. But up against Ripley, I mean, we've already said it. Like, there's just no comparison. I'm sorry, girl. Well, you're just floundering around trying to survive, and Ripley is coming in for the kill.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing about these is we have to decide if we're going to vote in the way we think the AI will do it, or if we vote in the way that we think is correct. And I think that's what we did in the first one, and the AI decided itself. And this one, it's like, this is what I think in a real scenario, even though I think that there is a world in which the AI kills Ripley to defend Grace, that's not how I think. Well, I think Ripley could actually, she might be the kind of sacrifice herself kind of girl. But I think in a real existing universe in which this is happening, Ripley is the strongest final girl in the scenario.
Yeah. Unfortunate that they were matched up against each other and a xenomorph, but it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, baby, end that scene.
Interior, Les Domas mansion, basement, night. The basement is in shambles. Flames flicker from scattered debris, casting eerie shadows across the stone walls. Blood stains and scorch marks tell the tale of a brutal battle. In the center of the room, Ellen Ripley stands over the smoldering remains of the xenomorph, her pulse rifle now spent. She's battered and bruised, her breath coming in ragged gasps. Her eyes scan the room, searching for any sign of movement. Across the room, Grace is on her knees, struggling to rise. She's covered in blood, both hers and the Les Domas family's. The knife she wields lies on the ground beside her, its blade chipped and stained. Ripley, breathless but triumphant. It's over, Grace. We did it. Grace looks up, a weary smile breaking through her exhaustion. Grace, panting. We actually did it. Suddenly, a movement catches Ripley's eyes. The Les Domas matriarch, bloodied and barely alive, crawls from the shadows, clutching the ceremonial dagger. With a final desperate scream, she lunges at Grace. Ripley, yelling, "Grace, look out!" Grace, with the last of her strength, rolls to the side. The matriarch's dagger misses her by inches. Ripley, reacting instantly, grabs a piece of debris and hurls it at the matriarch, striking her in the head. The matriarch collapses, lifeless, her dagger clattering to the floor. Ripley rushes to Grace's side, helping her to her feet. Ripley, it's really over now. Grace nods, tears welling in her eyes. She leans on Ripley for support as they make their way to the elevator. Just as they reach it, Grace falters, her injuries too severe. Grace, weakly, I don't think I'm gonna make it, Ripley. Ripley looks at Grace, her expression filled with sorrow and respect. Ripley, voice breaking. You've done enough, Grace. You've been incredible. Grace manages a weak smile, her eyes closing. Grace whispering, finish it for both of us. Grace's body goes limp in Ripley's arm. Ripley gently lowers her to the ground, taking a moment to close Grace's eyes. She stands, her face set in a grim determination. Ripley whispering, I will. Ripley turns and walks towards the exit, leaving the horrors of the basement behind. As she reaches the stairs, she takes one last look back at the destruction. The Les Domas family is gone, the xenomorph defeated, but the cost has been high. Interior, Les Domas mansion, main hall, night. Ripley emerges into the main hall, the first hints of dawn breaking through the windows. She pauses, taking a deep breath. The nightmare is over, but the memories will linger. Ripley, to herself, another day, another fight. She steps out into the cool morning air, the sun rising on a new day. She is the last one standing, the final girl, ready to face whatever comes next.
Points for us both.
Okay, but also points for us both. We both get our first point. But just to point out with the AI, there's literally the line, Grace manages a weak smile, her eyes closing, and then 2 lines later, Ripley lowers her to the ground, taking a moment to close Grace's eyes.
Well,
and then also Grace being like, finish it for both of us. And then Ripley just walking
away.
You've done it. You did it, Ripley. You walked.
My favorite part was as she's dying, she's basically like, that'll do, pig. That'll do.
That'll do. You did it. You did it, Grace. Points for us both. And this is the thing. It had to be Ripley. This whole entire world, in this whole entire scenario,
there's no
Ripley
way.
There's
no
way.
world that it wouldn't be Ripley. With a pulse rifle? Come on.
I am interested in the fact that they defeated the xenomorph, but it wasn't the xenomorph that was the final big bad. It was the matriarch that came fucking crawling out of the shadows.
That was wild to me. I will say, listen, AI sucks. It should not be taking anybody's jobs. We should not be using it for writing television shows. But I do appreciate that both of these times it has had a twist that kind of gagged me.
Mm-hmm. This has been like very, because the thing is, yes, Nick and I could write little crossover snippets, but one, we don't have the time,
no.
And two, it would then be unbiased. It would then be biased because we went into this being like each time we're like there's actually arguments to be had about both characters, so it's really nice to like have something declare it and be like, no, we disagree. Just like I disagree with that first one. I think that Erin would actually be the final girl, but that's not what the computer said. That's not what Megan said. Megan declared it. I'm not letting this die that Megan is the AI.
Oh, I'm cool with that.
Okay, great. So we now ending the 2 first qualifying rounds. We have our final girls advancing to the semifinals. We have Sidney Prescott and Ellen Ripley. Let's give it up for them. Yeah, you're gonna insert some applause here. Yeah, whoa.
Congratulations to our ladies. Next week, next week is gonna be a lot of fun too. I mean, honestly, they've all been fun. But Laurie Strode and Michael Myers versus Tree Gelbman from Happy Death Day with the Bayfield Babyface Killer. And then our final qualifying round is Maxine Minks from Pearl and X versus Sam Carpenter from Scream with Ghostface. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, I am very excited. I'm also really excited to see like Sam being her own different type of final girl.
Same.
So we hope you enjoyed this. Let us know who you thought, how many points you got, and please come back for the next installment, where we will be choosing the next girls that will make it onto the semifinals in the next part of the Final Girls Battle Royale, the Horror Whores versus the AI.
Bow, 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 bow.
Final Girls Showdown.
There you go. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'm glad we finally did it, because we've been talking about doing this for months.
We've been planning for months. Please let us know your thoughts on it, because I had a great time.
Me too.
I just liked reading these and like figuring out the story at the same time as you. Like, we're both like, what the fuck's gonna happen as we're like reading. So yeah,
A lot of fun.
let us know. Come back, and we will eventually be crowning a final girl of all final girls.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. All right.
And that's
On
it
that
for
note,
us. Yeah.
Well,
Find us on social media. Find us on social medias. Follow us. Give us a like if you're watching on YouTube. Give us a little comment. Let us know who you thought was going to win. Or if you want us to do this again with other Final Girls, feel free to start giving your suggestions. We might even do like monsters crossover kind of thing.
We'll do some monsters.
We'll figure it out. Let us know. But yeah, find us on social media. And thanks for watching. And on that note,
Bye,
sluts.
sluts.